As you guys may know, the FIFA Club World Cup is starting in literally 3 days as of the time I'm recording this video. And when I deeped that, I really sat back and thought, when does the football season actually end? So I started doing a bit of digging and I realized that the players are literally getting no rest. I mean, the competition starts on the 15th of June and ends, I think, in the middle of July. Yeah, it literally ends on the 13th of July. And if you don't know, pre-season starts at the end of July. So that's about 2 weeks of off time for the players. So I was really sitting back and deep in, football these days, there's so many more injuries. And I was really starting to wonder why that is. And I realized that it's because the players' bodies are not being accounted for properly at all. I mean, if you see the amount of games that they're playing per season now in comparison to, let's say, 10 seasons ago. For example, Rodri last season, he played the most games out of any player, and that was 73 games. Messi, on the other hand, in the 2011-2012 season, also played the most games, and he only played 60 games. That is a 13 game difference. Now, that might not seem like a crazy amount, but I promise you, with the intensity of the games that they're playing, with the amount they're running, 13 games over a season is a lot, plus training throughout the whole week. It's ridiculous. I was starting to realize that they're just throwing in random games to destroy players' bodies after the new Champions League format. I mean, it was very clearly just a cash grab from UEFA to try get an excuse, I guess, to sell more tickets and sort of run more matches, which would obviously generate more money. But those 2 extra games, potentially 4 games for some clubs in the middle of the season, is just terrible for the players. I mean, we're seeing more long-term injuries now than we've ever seen before. I mean, look at Saka. This guy's been playing with a hamstring injury for the past year, bro. I was about to say 6 months. It's been a year now. This guy's hamstring is literally on its last legs. It's on 1 HP. There's no chug jug that can help his hamstring no more. There's no med kit, no fucking chug splashes that will help this guy's hamstring. All he needs is some good rest. And with the way the football season is structured now, none of these players are going to be getting the rest that they need. For example, speaking of Rodri earlier, cool, he's coming back from an ACL injury soon, but I guarantee that he will not even have had the proper time to recover from that ACL injury, and he will just have been thrown into the thick of it again by Pep, because we saw the same exact thing happen with Saka. People are giving Arteta credit for managing Saka's minutes. Well, yeah, obviously, what do you expect him to do? But the fact that he's still playing 60 minutes straight after coming off of a 4-month hamstring injury, and prior to that hamstring injury, his hamstring already being fucked up, is stupid. So I was really sitting back and thinking, what's the point of this Club World Cup? I mean, honestly, FIFA, what are you actually doing? You're just destroying players' bodies. You're making players injured more, which is obviously worse for teams in their actual seasons, which is obviously worse for fans if their teams that are supporting are worse. So I don't understand what the actual point of the competition is. Well, obviously I do. It's, I guess, to make football a more appreciated sport in America, but football's massive in America. I don't know why people have this sort of obsession that, or this thought that nobody in America cares about football. Of course they do, but let's be honest, the real reason they're doing this is for the money, and that's what annoys me the most, because they're clearly compromising the players' bodies just for a bit of extra money in their pockets. And you know what annoys me most about these points or these arguments about, players' bodies being accounted for is the people in comment section saying, oh, well, if I was on 500k a week, I wouldn't complain. Yes, you would, bro. I promise you would complain, because playing 2 to 3 intense games at the top level a week whilst also training for the whole week is ridiculous. I mean, last season, Newcastle couldn't even train. They were just playing games and then not doing anything, recovering, and then playing games again, because their squad had that many injuries and was that stretched for players, because they had so many games and all their players were getting injured. So no, I promise you, if you were on 200k a week, you would complain if you were having to play 3 times a week, because as someone who plays football quite often and has been playing for a couple times, trust me, playing once, even 2 times a week in an actual game, let alone training, it's exhausting. So I can't imagine doing that at the top level of the sport. I don't think we're deep in the the quality and intensity of professional football, and whilst also playing more games than any other sport. And also training, like we're thinking, like when you think of training at pro clubs and stuff, a lot of people think they just take it easy. No, like training sessions are intense, bro. And that's why the increased amount of games is even worse, because you don't even let players aren't even allowed to properly recover unless they're injured. It's gotten so bad to the point where some players just say they're injured even without being injured, because they just don't want to play. They don't feel good to play. Their body hurts, and that probably fucks with their mental, bro. Feeling injured all the time and feeling drained and exhausted. It's annoying. I mean, I remember Bernardo Silva coming out, I think it was 2 seasons ago, saying that he doesn't even really have time to spend with his family or his kids because he's just always exhausted, or he's always having to train or play games or travel. It's crazy. And that's another thing I forgot to mention that is also a underrated fact of why there's so many injuries, is the increased travel. Players are traveling so much. I mean, for example, Man United, they literally just finished their season and they were already on a plane the next day to like Malaysia to play in that tour. Bro, traveling that much is not good for players. So all these players that have just finished their seasons at the top level they're literally coming back from international duty. They haven't even had 2 proper weeks off because they've had international duties, and they're having to get on a plane straight back to America to play more football. And then after that, they have maybe 1 week off, and then they have to fly back to their club again to start pre-season. It gets to a point, bro. And then that's why I'm worried about players. I'm worried for players like Yamal and Doué and all these young players, because they're going to get overplayed. We've seen this with Saka. This guy's hamstring is, like I said earlier, it's on 1 HP. There's no saving it. And Yamal at 17 has played 100 games. Cool, I get he's world class, but there has been other 17-year-olds that are world class and they haven't played 100 games. Ronaldo at his age, I think he played 6 games. Messi didn't even really play when he was 17. So the fact that we have a 17 or a nearly 18-year-old now who's played 100 games is ridiculous. And it's like, what even is this competition? Why are we having Bayern Munich playing against Auckland City as if we don't already know how that game's going to end? But hey, that's all I really have to say. The Club World Cup's a waste of time. If you agree, smash the button or the like button. If you disagree, like the button. Smash the like button. Anyway, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. If you disagree, let me know in the comments why you disagree. I mean, I don't really see how you could even disagree. But anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one.